What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the Two Goat Show. We're your hosts, Miriah and Steph. Steph, happy Two Goat Thursday. Good to see you. It's been a while. How you
I
been?
know
How
we're
you
back.
doing?
We're back. I've been holding up as a Niner fan outside of my 49er fandom. I've been great. Um, but yeah, this team it's been a lot this season.
It has. It's been crazy because it's been a lot for us to go through as fans, and it's been a lot that the players have gone through on
Yeah.
their side as well. And we'll get into that shortly. Chat, what's up? Happy to go Thursday. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope you've had a great week so far. Besides, obviously, our team being losers, but life goes on. We have to continue to be winners, even though they're losers. Okay, that's what we're doing. Don, good to see you. Appreciate you as always. Don and Throwback, you can count on them being there. What's up? What's good? Brandon, this is not Monday. Okay. We are not talking WNBA here. So get the hell out of here. All right. Everybody out there, hope everybody's great. What's up to you all? Make sure you like, subscribe to both channels, Steph 49K and Faithfully in Vegas. Appreciate it. So, well, first of all, let me just get this out there because I don't know how much energy or greatness you're gonna get from me today. Okay, I was like this close to canceling the show, but I didn't because it's Steph. If it had been any other day, I probably would have, but since it's Steph, I couldn't because she's a goat and I can't just do that to her. But it's been a shitty day for me. I don't know if it's just like from this whole week being so busy and just being exhausted, like everything's just catching up. And I don't know, like I have spent more time since I woke up today crying than not. And it's just been a mess. Like those that have, been subscribed to me, like been a part of my journey, know that maybe about once a year, I like these feelings, I don't know, just like start flooding me that like the negative, like that negative guy on this side yelling at me, like, you can't do this, you suck at this, you need to stop. Like, and it's just, yeah. So like I deal with that every so often. This year, like I've been pretty good, but today, like I said, it just all came crushing in. And I just thought, like, why? Like, I'm like basically trying to figure out, like, am I going to cancel my channel? So why am I going to even do a show today? Like, it would be pointless. Like, that's kind of how I was feeling. So I kind of just had to push that aside and say, well, it's Steph, so I'm going to show up. And so here we are. So you'll get the best of me that I can do. I don't know how long I'll be able to go, but we'll push through. Miss Debbie, good to see you. Appreciate you as always.
Well, I'm just gonna interrupt and say, for one, I mean, like, thank you for like expressing that here, because I think a lot of people deal with similar things in their life, and they don't find a good place to let that out. And also because everyone here, myself included, is very supportive of your channel, what you do. That's why we're here. I come in here every time to do these shows with you, and there's already like a flood of chats ready and excited to watch your show. So I'll just say that, like, remind yourself of that, even when you don't feel like it, or you're down. People are looking forward to hearing what you have to say. So it is important. And, I'm here as well. So just don't forget that.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes it just feels like, like it's a lot of people that don't do this think it's just easy, like you just sit down, get to talk about sports, whatever. But if you're actually like putting the work in to do a good show, a lot of planning, preparation, work goes into making it a successful show. And
Yes.
I have never been one that skips on the work. Those that follow me have known, like I've showed you guys my notes many times, that I'll have pages and pages and pages of notes to get ready for these shows. And I just feel like sometimes when you put in so much work to something and you don't get no fucking results, it's just like, what are you doing this for? And it's like, as much as I love this, I also love my own time. I love my family. I love, getting to spend time doing other things. Yet I put so much time into this, and it's just like sometimes I question, like, why? Like I see other people and I try so hard because I know comparison is the thief of joy, and I know that. But I'm not perfect and I can't stop myself from doing it. And it's like I see other people join into being content creators, and not just for the 49ers, for anything, and it's like they'll put in the least amount of work, and because of who they know or because of who they're fucking, they get to the top, and like those that know, I've talked about this before, about, the work, it's just like in the casino or in being in the music, movie stars, whatever. Like in so many industries, you always have those women, or now even men, who knows, that can just screw their way to the top. And, like it's no different in content creation. Or those that just get to come and sit behind the mic and act a fool. And because people think they're hot, the people flock in, right? Like I watch, on like gamers, like gaming chicks, especially like the dumbest, ditziest ones with the least amount of clothes are going to have the most people in their chats, right? And then you have some that are putting in so much fucking work and grinding and grinding and grinding, and yet nobody's there, and it's just like some days it's just hard, like it's so fucking hard because, like, and Steph, I appreciate you saying that, but at the same time, I feel like, yeah, I know I have my core people that are always here, and I appreciate you guys and love you guys dearly, that. But it's like, if they weren't here, nobody else would fucking be here, it's like, and so some days I feel like, what, I'm just gonna sit here and talk to my fucking self, like, and thank God I've never had to do that, because like I said, there's always that core amount of people here, but it's like the channel's not growing, things aren't moving, and it's just like I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and it's like people can say, oh, you're great, you do this, you're so great for the community. I hear that, but the results aren't there. So as much as you guys can tell me that, the results aren't there to show me that. Nothing's there to show me that people want to fucking watch and care what I have to say. So it's like, yeah, that core group can tell me you're so great, you're so great. Okay, thank you, but obviously I'm not. Obviously I'm doing something wrong. And I don't know what. Like I've tried to switch things up. I've tried to change things up, but I'm not ever going to turn away and be somebody that I'm not. And, like I'm just at the point where if you guys don't love me for who the fuck I am, then, I'm sorry. But I'm not going to sit here and act like some dumb fucking ass just to get you guys to like me. I'm not going to sit here and talk down on our team and cause all this fucking commotion and drama just to get the views. Like, that's not me. I'm not going to be a fake like that.
But you should feel good about that, though. Like, that you don't have to stoop down, to a level, or like, break out of your own character and who you are, just for the sake of that, because that's also not worth it either. And what you're saying, even I have struggled with that. I think that's very common for anyone, trying to make it into a space that one is very male dominated, and then also two is very competitive and what's the other word, like saturated. Like there's a lot of content creators, but I always think of it like this. There's some people who don't love it. They don't love it like we do. So it's like they're going to fizzle out. So you may think to yourself, wow, this person, they came out of nowhere, they did this and that. But a lot of the time, like they won't keep up with it. So you just got to keep grinding, got to do what we do our way, and people are going to appreciate that for what it is. And, that's, and that's why everyone's here. And I know some days it's like, it's tough, but you just got to remember that. I'll say this. The fact that the 49ers are as bad as they are makes it even tougher, because you're just like, wow, like on top of everything else, this team sucks. I don't even want to talk about them. But that's, and you'd be surprised how many people like feel the same way who do content creation. So you just got to persevere and, keep at it, because we got to be the last one standing, That's how it goes.
Thank you. And I appreciate you guys. I see you guys. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry to sit here and cry. Like,
No, we got you. We got you, Miriah.
All right. Let's talk about this shitty team now.
God damn this team.
I don't even know where our freaking score predictions are. Through them somewhere.
I haven't even done mine this week.
Yeah, I don't know, that is part of it. Like the team sucks, and it's just like you see them, like the players, like it seems like half of them don't give a shit anymore, and like I keep coming back to, and I asked you the last time we did a show, do they do the fucking boombox walkout shit? Right? Like we talked about that. We were talking about, the chat was in on it and everything. We had a whole discussion about this boombox.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they continue to do it. Okay. But what drives me the most nuts is this last game. They do the boombox thing, and you got Debo always there in the front, leading the fucking thing.
Yep.
Hyped as fucking could be. Most of the team, once you get to the end of it, those players are like, yeah, whatever. But half the fucking team, so hyped. And then all of a sudden, when they get on the field and that football's hyped,
nothing.
Like, where did that go? Why are you more hyped for the fucking tunnel walkout than you are to actually play the football game? Like, where's that passion?
They've been all talk, like, all season, pretty much. All talk. And they need to toss that speaker off like a 10-story building, maybe even higher, because it's not matching the energy that we're seeing on the field. And to me, that's a problem. Like, the speaker was cool when the team was lit, when the product on the field, reflected that and showed the swagger that they had, like, we're bullies, like, we're coming in here and we're blowing up your spot.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't seen that this season. So it just doesn't feel right to continue doing it, in my opinion. Like, you got to earn the right to party and to show that speaker,
Yeah, like, you're there celebrate. That's like showing up wearing black forces, and then you get out on the field and lay down. Like, hello?
Pretty Pretty much.
And then to go out there, you know, and it's like both these past 2 games, since we didn't get to talk about the game before that either, our guys are like slipping all over the field, right? Like, you're going into Buffalo, already knew there was snow on the ground. Buffalo had no fucking problems.
Exactly.
They had no problems putting up points. 35 fucking points they dropped on us. And yet, every single thing seems to affect the 49ers, like, in a negative way. Like, I just don't understand. Like, they're not ever prepared for their cleats. They're not. Brock, like, Shanahan's been asked numerous times, do you guys practice with a wet football? No, we don't see any reason to do that. Other teams, you see them doing it. So must fucking do something. Yet Brock continues to get out there in bad weather games and the ball slips out of his hands. He drops the ball. Like, he can't fucking play in the weather. It's just like all these other things, like, this stack up. Other teams get through that shit. And it's like, this season, the 49ers just can't. You know, and I'm not even talking, obviously the personal shit is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Like, we'll talk about that in a minute, but just strictly on the field, stuff they can actually control, you know, it's just like, yeah, you got injuries. So do other teams.
Right. The Lions have a shit ton of injuries.
And there they are dominating. Like, every game they're dropping players like us, yet they're there still bullying. The next guy comes up and bullies just like the guy before him.
Yeah.
And it's like the 49ers used to be that. So where did that passion go? Where did that want? Where did that, you know, like, I just don't see that. And I keep going back to in training camp. You were there. We talked about so many times about the vibes. The vibes, something just didn't seem right. All the way back to training camp. Shit didn't seem right. Like, why? You know, like, what is up with this fucking team? Is it like the off-field stuff already, you know, like, that's a lot to deal with. Let's just talk about it right now. You got the Ricky shooting. So to start off, right? You had CMC go down, never even fucking played a snap to start. The Ricky shooting. Then obviously Charvarius Ward loses his daughter. Now you got Trent Williams loses his twins born baby boy. Like, is that what is having a trickle down effect to every player on this roster? Or, like, what is it? The coaches? Are they not bought in anymore? Are they, like, what is it, Steph? Give me something, please.
To me, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. And I would say an accumulation of a lot of things. And I do think the physical and emotional toll of these last couple years contending deep playoff runs, that has worn on them, I think. Like, they look from the start of this season like almost, I don't want to say disinterested, but it's probably the best word I can find, right? Like, they just didn't look like they had it in them to try one more time with this group. Like, they need a break. That's what it looked like to me. And I think in combination with a lot of the off-field stuff too that impacted the on-field stuff, I think that has little by little also impacted the injuries that have just grown week to week. I think has impacted, because first, your energy is flat to start the season. You're not finishing games, but you're still technically in it. And then when you're in the face of a must-win game, you can't get it done. Like, that to me just tells me, like, you don't want to, in a way. Like, and not consciously, right? Like, I don't think any player is consciously saying, like, I don't want to compete. But again, I just think, like, the toll of everything that they've been through and losing the Super Bowl the way they did, that's heartbreaking. And I don't know if you caught this, Mariah, but like even Chris Forrester said he lost his wife the week before the Super Bowl to cancer, to
Oh
ovarian
my
cancer.
God.
The week before the Super Bowl, and like he just mentioned it today, like that's how he started his presser. But that's
Oh wow.
crazy. Like there's so much that has happened, and again, like it's a lot. It's a lot to carry, and also I guess like expect the team to overcome. I think I've come to the point where I feel like this season, the way it's gone, and how they can kind of have an opportunity to, I say opportunity, like they can miss the playoffs, but I see them missing the playoffs as a blessing in disguise because I do really think they need the break. Like, I think they will enjoy watching the playoffs from their couch.
Yeah.
Like maybe the competitive side of them won't, right? But I think their bodies, their families, their personal life will thank them for not doing that this off season. They can heal their bodies. And then from the team building standpoint, like you have an opportunity with the remaining games this season. Look at what you have, look at what you could move forward with, get a better idea, information gather on all these young players and even guys who are impending free agents, Dre Greenlaw, Hufanga, what's going to happen with those guys, right? You want to
Mhm.
see all that, right? And this is a great opportunity to do that because if you were fighting, like truly contending, like you wouldn't be afforded the time to, and or the margin of error to be able to do that. Now it's like, why not? Let's just give it a whirl, right? So it's a blessing in disguise, I think, all around. They need a reset mentally, physically, roster wise, like
Yeah.
there's a lot. So I think, yeah, it this whole season I think is just an accumulation of many, many things. And that's why it was it looked almost impossible from week to week for this team to turn it around because I think it was just beyond their control at that point. Is too much.
Yeah, it has been a lot. You bring up seeing these guys play the rest of the season, and that was actually the next topic about what now? Like what do we do now? And like you do have these guys like Fred Warner been playing through a broken whatever the hell, and it's like when do you shut him down? Like he's in his presser saying he wants to finish out the season, like he wants to play throughout the season, and it's just like, are you going to save him from himself? Are you going to shut him down, or you're going to let him get hurt worse? And then you do have Greenlaw. It's like, what do you do with him? Because Kyle said it's likely he could play against the Rams, which is obviously not this Sunday but the next Sunday. But it's like, so do you let him come back and play and see if he's okay, so if you want to play him, or do you just keep him shut down? Like, how do you handle that situation? Because it's a risk, right? Like, what if he gets hurt again? So, like, what players now moving forward are you wanting to shut down? Like Lenore, we just played him, and then he gets hurt right away. And, like, even though it's nothing serious, it's like, do we risk now letting him play throughout the season? And what if something happens? Now, there goes our starting corner for next season. It's like, so at what point do we start shutting these guys down, and which ones, and which of these younger guys, the end fringe guys, are you wanting to see play more?
Yeah, I think that's definitely needs to be part of the decision making going forward. As far as the players that are on injured reserve and coming back, it just so happens, right, that both Hufanga and Greenlaw are free agents after the season. So in a way, they're kind of excluded from the risk from the team standpoint because they don't have any money or commitment tied to those players beyond this season. So it's twofold, right? I think both Greenlaw and Hufanga want to play because you're competitors. You haven't played for, Greenlaw since the Super Bowl, and Hufanga, like, he only came back like a week or two before he was hurt again. So, like, in their mind, I think they want to go out there and prove their worth because they're playing for their next contract, whether that be with the 49ers or not, right? So I think they want to play to do that. They want to play for themselves, right? And so I think on that same token, like the 49ers, I think, are fine with having them do that just because in the interim, it does help the team, but it doesn't necessarily hurt the long-term future.
Yeah. What guys are you looking forward to seeing then play? Like, there's even, I was thinking about it, like, there's guys, there was a post I think I had seen you comment on or something, and then I seen it, and it was talking about, I think it was the Lions O-line, like guys that they had drafted in their O-line, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah. Colts. And it was like, deep into the draft and whatnot. And, it made me start thinking about like the coaching, which I hate to now bring him up, but, like I'm going to talk about in a minute about coaching changes moving forward. But it's like, we have guys that we have drafted for the O-line that like, we've literally never even seen. Like, we see them if there's an injury and they have to come in, and it's just like, what have these guys been doing? Like, has anybody been working with them? Have they been what?
So this is kind of my thing with like the 49ers draft philosophy, right? I think they don't prioritize it as much as you would like them to, but they're also looking for very specific things, which isn't bad. Like, I think you should always have a certain criteria that is going to fit your scheme, because you need offensive linemen who are nimble, who could move, right, in the type of scheme that the 49ers run. And not just that, but I think they go for guys who have the traits but might need a lot of time to develop, the techniques, all that. But they know they have the traits. That's a good thing. But the problem with that is that most of the time you're not going to get day one starters. I think the 49ers have been very fortunate that Dominic Puni has been everything they could have hoped for and more. But let's not forget, the only reason Puni even got that opportunity to begin with was because of an injury in training camp. I don't think he would have even stepped on the field this season. Well, maybe he would have with all the injuries elsewhere, right? Like,
we've been like, Puni who?
Right, but like, I think that's what the 49ers tend to do, especially on offense. It's like, oh, like, we don't need you, so like we're not going to play you, especially for offensive linemen. It's not like other positions where you can ease someone in, right? So Puni, fortunate enough that he's a day one starter, but there's been guys they've drafted like Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore looks great. Like, Jalen Moore looked pretty good these last couple games filling in for Trent Williams. We wouldn't have known that otherwise. But also in the past when he's come in, like, he's been shaky, right? So it's taken him till what year of his contract is he on? Like third? Like, it's taken him that long to become this version of him that's actually serviceable. It's actually startable. So it's taken him a while. Nick Zakelj, I think, is like his third season too. And he was the guy that when they drafted him, they're like, yeah, we think he could be like center of the future, maybe. But we haven't seen him at all. And mostly because I think the development plan for these offensive linemen just take so long, unless they're like starter ready, like, which some of them, like I say, are. Like Aaron Banks, didn't take that long. Colton McKivitz took 2 seasons, I think, before he started. And even then, like, he's not perfect, right? So, yeah, I think their development plan works to an extent, just not at the speed we would want to see. And Ben Barch, by the way, who the 49ers didn't draft, but they brought him in from, I think,
Yeah.
Jacksonville, right?
Yep.
Like in the offseason. And he's looked great too. But again, someone we wouldn't have known was this good. And you know, I'll just also say, like, it was one game played in the snow that obviously does benefit the offensive lineman. So I need to see more, but
all
you
the
know,
rest
just,
look like shit.
so like Ben Barch could be a hidden gem, right? That they picked up, and we'll have to wait and see. So going back to who I'm excited for, like I am excited to see more of Ben Barch, and I think we will get that opportunity. Aaron Banks, I think he's still not practicing this week. You know, he had a concussion, right? So
Yeah.
I should double check. Yeah, he's still not practicing.
He's not.
So,
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to see more Ben Barch. Wouldn't mind seeing more Jalen Moore. I mean, it seems like we'll probably get that opportunity as well. Isaac Guerrero, I'm excited to see what he does as RB1. I think there's some things there. Like, he has the speed, obviously.
Yeah.
So like once he gets in the open field, like he's good. Still needs to clean up his game a little bit, but that's part of what I'm excited to see in like these next 5 games. Like, how does he improve from one game to the next? I saw like a clip, I think David Lombardi posted it, of him like by himself, like with a bunch of papers going through like plays, and he's like, you know, lining up by himself, and you know, just going through mental
putting in
reps.
the work. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. I think that's cool. It's like, you know, these guys that are getting thrown into these opportunities that they otherwise probably wouldn't have had, I think could be exciting. So I'm excited to see Guerrero. I think Izzy Abanikanda that the 49ers picked up on waivers. I don't know if we'll see him right away, like, but I'm excited to see how he looks too, because I think he's a good scheme fit. I want to see more Pearsall and Cowan, like that, Miriah. Like, there's no limit to who I want. Pearsall and Cowan, like,
who's that?
Okay, Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, but like those are the guys I want to see more of. Like, all the young players, all of them. Evan Anderson, he got his first start last week, right? Like, I want to see more of him. D Winters. Yeah, like it's just, it could be exciting, I think.
Yeah, get that freaking Campbell the fuck out of there. Like, oh my God, I can't wait till that guy's on our team.
Carter, Shay. Yes.
Yeah, so I just looked it up because I didn't know who that was. So it says it's a defensive end from Penn State. Number 11. We already have an 11, Shay, okay?
He could wear any number he wants besides 11. I don't care.
Yeah, because DN not going to be wearing no fucking 11.
I wonder where he goes, though.
Where do you think?
This is like the time of the year where we don't really have an idea where some guys will go. Like, we know probably just the quarterbacks, a couple of them, but yeah, there's still time for that to shake out, I think.
Iconoclast says, funny, I want the quarterback from Penn State.
I haven't gotten into full draft mode yet, so I don't know.
You want the quarterback as our starter? Iconoclast?
I mean, you always gotta look for upgrades.
Yeah. Guerrero, I'm super, super excited for. I've been so excited since we drafted him, and I was hoping and praying that he wouldn't just turn into another running back that we draft and we never fucking see, and he gets shipped off somewhere. So, you know, obviously due to injury, but whatever, we get to see him. So, and you know, it's funny you brought up him working there with his, you know, sheets and his plays and all that, because after his, you know, during his press conference, when I was listening to it, like, that's what I got from the things he was saying, is that, like, one, he's super excited for the opportunity. And like, I just feel like he's one of the guys that he's going to try to, like, he knows the opportunity that's in front of him and going to try to make the best of it. He said that he's been reaching out to like all the vets, like he named a whole shit ton of them, just to, learn everything that he can, like recovery, how to take care of his body, all the different things. And then obviously CMC as well, helping him and, telling him that, he can be there for him and everything. So, that added on with, you saying that he's there, working by himself, doing his plays and stuff, like I really think this kid is going to, hopefully, please keep him healthy, really make the best of this. And like you said, yeah, he has stuff to clean up. Obviously, he's a rookie and has hardly played. So, this is exactly that time that, like you said, take it, and each game hopefully we see him get better, and the mistakes he makes, because it's not going to be perfect, right? But the mistakes he makes, let's hope that then we don't see those same mistakes the next game and on forward. So I think it's a great opportunity. Of course, I hate, and let's talk about this real quick, because I saw that you had tweeted that after CMC put out the post yesterday that you thought it was retirement post. And when I read it, I thought when I went to go read it, I thought the exact same thing. Like my heart dropped to the pit of my stomach. And before I'm even reading it, I'm thinking, oh my God, he had enough. He's thinking I can't keep coming back from these injuries. And, I put in all this fucking work to come back a couple games and now I'm out again. I thought he just finally had it. And luckily he's not, retiring. But I hate to see that injuries that happen to him. And then obviously it would have finally, okay, Mason, we get to see Mason again. We haven't seen him in a few games, right? And then no, now he's out too. So it sucks so much to lose those guys to injury, but I'm really hoping that Garindo makes the best of it. And yeah, that post from CMC, it just shows you the kind of guy, right? That he is. And I don't know, I just hope, I hope so much that he's able to, not even just for the 49ers or because I'm a 49ers fan, just as a football fan, as a person, I really hope that he's able to, battle back from everything that he's going through, the new injury, the other shit that he's dealing with, and at least, maybe not be the starter and the guy that we run into the ground every game, Kyle Shanahan, but at least to have some kind of role, whether that's the change of pace back or, something. He doesn't have to be carrying the ball and touching the ball 30 fucking plays a game. But I'm hoping that he's able to come back in some capacity and actually be, a football player again, because it just breaks my heart to know, you don't see, going back to watching people put in so much work, you see football players, what they do, and some, of course we don't see everything they do, right? But some will post their training and whatever, and it's just like you're a football player, that's all you're doing. I could fucking do that and I'm crippled. And then you see CMC post his stuff, and it's just crazy, the stuff that he does to prepare for the fucking season. Yeah, that he put every single second that he has goes into preparing for fucking football. Yeah. And that's the type of person you hate to see them robbed of, stuff like this, because how much work he puts in, and it just breaks my heart. I cried tears when I saw him go down in that game. And it, obviously it wasn't no big injury, oh my God, that's so bad, that kind of tears, but it was just tear dropped, because I knew right then, damn, all this work to get back, and
it's over. And he was looking the best he had looked this season. Oh my too. God, that's the other thing. It was dang, yeah, okay, he's finally looking like himself again. Yeah, and then for it to happen, then I think it's tough. But one thing he said in that caption, right, on his post was I'll work smarter and harder than ever to come back from this. And I don't know, maybe this season, the whole Achilles tendonitis thing that he dealt with, maybe in a way was a wake-up call of, hey, like, me going all out every single time might not be the best for my body. But at the same time, I mean, I think his dad has said, like, he can say that he spends the most out of any player on, like, just body recovery and, like, just working out. And I don't know, his his conditioning, just everything having to do with preparing for football. Yeah, his dad has said he can safely say on that. It
Yeah,
is
that's
crazy.
crazy.
But he
Out
needs
of
to
all,
relax. He needs to rest so he can get back to truly being 100% and ready for 2025.
And maybe that's part of it. Like maybe he does too much. Like, is that, like if you're overworking
That's
your
what I'm
body,
saying.
like
Like,
overextending,
mhm.
like there has
Yeah,
to be a limit.
that's what I'm saying. Like him saying I'll work smarter.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. Like, chill, relax a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully, man, because of course, the injuries, they're gonna happen in this game, but man, just sucks so much. Joel, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Daryl, I saw your message as well. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, let's look ahead to this Chicago game. People, it's funny, they talk about Chicago like they're just some shitty ass chumps, right? Like, oh, the Chicago Bears, boo, they suck, Yet our records are almost the same. Like, let's not act like we're some, so looking into this Chicago game, like, how are you feeling? Obviously, the Chicago Bears just fired their head coach, right? So, always teams, I feel like once they do that, those players are ready to fight. Like once the head coach goes out, like it puts like a different, like especially the Bears, because if you had followed or no, like in their press conferences, they were to the point where they're like calling out the head coach. Like they were fed the fuck up, those players.
Oh yeah.
And so they're going to be happy that guy's gone. So, they want to win. Remember, we just talked about, do the 49ers even want to, like, do they give a shit? Like, I know that these Bears, they're wanting to win right now. So they're going to go out there and, like, oh, the 49ers, they're on a losing streak. Okay, we got this. They're going to go out there and fight and give the shit everything they fucking have. Do the 49ers go out there and give it everything they fucking have to meet it? Or do they let the sorry ass Bears drop 35 on their freaking head? Steph?
All right. I don't know about 35.
How you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think the 49ers are capable of losing any game at this point. Like, that's what we've seen, unfortunately. That's crazy to say, but that's just, it's what we've seen. So a few weeks ago, I would have probably said, yeah, I still, even with the 49ers looking the way they do, I still feel good about this game. And then the last 2 weeks happened, and now I'm back to they can lose this game, especially when you add on the fact that, yes, they fired Eberflus, and I think they're going to come rejuvenated, into this game. Usually when there's an interim head coach, like they're able to squeeze out a couple wins before it kind of like tapers off. But
start sucking.
Yeah, like it just catches up to them. So if the 49ers aren't careful, like the Bears could very well win this game, because they are going to be motivated to do that. Everyone's rallying behind Caleb Williams, and the offense has looked much improved the last couple weeks as well. I'll add that too. So it's honestly kind of tough for me to give a prediction. Right now, I'm really just like, they can win because like they have better players, but they can lose because they haven't been playing better. Like that is really as simple as that. But I'll say this. I think right now the 49ers have so many injuries on top of all the other things that we discussed, right, earlier in the show. I feel like the injuries right now are insurmountable. Like, it's too much. Like, if Bosa doesn't play, this defense has like no chance against anybody, just because the defensive line is so not good. Yeah, they're like not good without Bosa. Like, he's like the only guy who is capable of. Well, I don't want to like. That's no slight to some of those players, but it's just like they're not at that level.
Yeah,
they're not close at that level. So without Nick, I think it's going to be tough, and I don't think he plays. The good news is Lenore at least was bumped up to full practice, so he's going to play. So you're going to have Lenore, Mooney Ward back, so that's good.
Yeah.
But if Nick doesn't play, I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about this game, especially because, Caleb has the running ability, and we saw Josh Allen, have some fun with that against this team as well. So, yeah, I think this is a team that could give the defense some headaches. And I haven't seen enough from the offense lately to tell me that they're capable of putting up points. That being said, though, Isaac Guerrero, I think, is capable of being a home run hitter on the ground, right? So he could potentially give you some points, put you in favorable spots. But on that same token, pass protection is not good. You're probably going to see Brock like running, a little bit more, escaping some pockets. So it's toss up. I hate to do this, Miriah. I really do, because this was really the game that I had them like winning. Like I said a couple weeks ago, and now I really don't know. I truly don't know. Like,
you don't have to do it yet if you don't want.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
I'm thinking about it because, like,
all right. Go ahead and think about it.
It might depend on if Nick plays or not. But then even then, I'm like, will that make that much of a difference?
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's the hard part, is like Caleb Williams is playing the best football that he's played so far. Like, I think he's gone like 6 games or something without throwing an interception.
Really?
So, yeah. So our offense, like you said, even with CMC in there, they were still struggling in the freaking red zone.
Yep.
So
how about use Kittle, right?
Yes. Like, what the fuck? Like, stop throwing the ball to Debo. He sucks. He's ass. Stop throwing him the ball. And can we actually put Brock says he's not getting to Kittle in his progressions. Kittle says he's only targeted twice. So whose fault is that? So I don't know if it's a Kyle's fault, if it's a Brock's fault, but can we scoot him up in the progressions? Like, he should be your number one fucking option. And then you go to everybody else after that.
I mean, he's the best one on the field. Like, going forward.
Like, he's the one that can put the team on his back and actually do something. Like, if there's anybody on the offense right now to carry this team to get fucking points, you talked about obviously Guerrero, right? But as a pass catcher, Kittle is the one we need to fucking use. Like, I don't understand what is so difficult about that. To have only 2 targets in a game?
Especially, like, I understand it was snowing and, like, the conditions made it a run-heavy game. But, like, when you're down that many points, like, you got to start throwing the football, and your best lifeline is George Kittle in those situations. So, it was baffling. I understand George Kittle's frustration completely. And I'm glad he got frustrated and that he was so open about it in his presser, because I think you have no choice but to acknowledge and address it. And the way you address it is by getting him targets in this game against the Bears.
Yeah. Like, we saw Kittle go up there presser after presser, week after week, with Jimmy Garoppolo as his quarterback. wearing Jimmy
Hospital
Garoppolo
balls,
fucking
everything.
t-shirts,
Yeah.
getting hurt every fucking game, and getting behind that mic and talking about how wonderful Jimmy Garoppolo was.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have a George Kittle that gets up there after a loss and is still his happy-go-lucky self, smiling, joking, and through it says, well, I didn't feel that I was covered. I only got 2 targets. That's not on me.
Yeah.
So who's it on?
I think it's both. I think it's both Kyle and Purdy, to be honest with you. I think it's both of them.
So tell me, Steph.
Can you do your score prediction first?
Okay. Let me see.
I always do mine first.
I'm gonna go. I haven't calculated. Next week, I'll have to do the calculations because now we skipped a week and I haven't calculated from the week before. So, but just as a reminder, Steph has taken the lead in the score predictions the last time we were here. So we'll see if she can continue it.
I think I'm ready to get mine. I'll just
go ahead.
Okay, but I do have a contingency.
I was gonna say if Bosa plays, then this, and if Bosa don't play, then this.
Yeah. Because I mean, I don't think Trent plays. I don't think so either. It's already out of the question. If Nick plays, I think the 49ers win 19-17. I think it'd be low scoring.
19-17, 49ers with Nick.
Yes, with Nick.
Okay.
19-17. If he doesn't play, I think it'll be 21-9. 49ers.
Very close to what I have, Steph.
Ooh.
So no Nick. I don't think Nick's playing, honestly. So I'm just giving my score just 1 because I don't think his ass is going to play. So I have 21-10 Chicago.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can actually score a touchdown, you guys.
Hopefully we could score more than 10 points too. Like, can we get above that?
Iconoclast says 24-14 Bears. So around what we're thinking too. I did want to go back to this before we leave.
No field goals for the Niners.
He can't fucking make any. So what the fuck? Like our team can't score touchdowns and our fucking kicker can't make field goals. So I mean, what are we gonna do? So when I had asked as quarterback 1 to Iconoclast, he says, or they say, if they're going to keep Purdy, I say let him play out his contract and draft Drew Allar, I think, this year.
Allar, yeah.
Okay, you could maybe even get him in the second. What do you think, Steph? This has been a big topic of conversation about Purdy.
So, in particular about Allar, I can't say much. Like I said, I don't watch much college football. I haven't gotten into draft yet. But as far as drafting a quarterback, yes, I think you should draft a quarterback every year. And I think the 49ers will extend Purdy, but I don't think you should be content with him either. Like, I think you should continue to look for an upgrade. And you don't have to be aggressive about that. Like, I'm not saying give up 3 first-round picks for a quarterback in the first round. Please don't do that. But, I think there's ways you can do it where you're not hurting your team, but you're still, like, looking for an upgrade. I honestly think that could be probably good for Brock.
Yeah. What do you think about this paying him Because a lot of people seem to think, oh, well, it's Brock. He's not going to ask for this, yada, yada, yada. But they seem to forget that he actually has an agent that, does that for him. So, do you think like that the 49ers do pay him what's next in the quarterback market? Do you think he's not going to command that much? Or, do you think I can't see him playing out this last year of his deal?
No, I don't think he will. I don't think the 49ers will force him to do that either. I think Kyle, this team, I think they want him around. Right? They want to extend him. I think they're going to go about it the way they do most contracts, which is start with your lowball offer. I think Brock and his agent will probably say no to the lowball offer, but I think the second time they come back to the table, maybe the third, like I don't think it'll be much further than that, because I can't see, like, I think Purdy knows what and who he is. I think he's realistic about who he is. Like even last season, and I'm not saying he's going to take like a low ball offer or a team friendly deal necessarily, but I also don't think he's going to pinch the 49ers for every penny they're worth. That's just one that I don't think that's him, and I don't think he thinks that's what he's worth. And in good faith, I don't think he would ask that of the 49ers, who he could see as having taken a chance on him with the last pick in the draft, So I just keep thinking about how last year at every turn, when he was asked about his own success and his numbers and how good he looked, right? He always mentioned his teammates and the offense and the guys he had around him. I think he knows he needs that in order to be successful. And it's hard to argue against that, right? When you see this season. So yeah, I think he'll get paid, but I don't think it's going to be in the 60 million range.
Yeah. This season, even though, obviously it hasn't gone how any of us would have thought or hoped or wanted, it might have just been a blessing in disguise, because had he came out and balled and had another MVP season, like, he is getting a lot of money. 2 MVP type seasons back to back, So even though obviously us not having success, doesn't all fall onto Brock. And I really hate the people that seem to think like this is all Brock's fault. Like, you guys watched Jimmy fucking Garoppolo play quarterback for this team for how many ever freaking years, and now you're gonna watch Brock and think, like, I've seen so many comparisons like this past 2 weeks. Brock is just Jimmy. It's showing now that, like, it was all about his weapons, and it's just like, come on, like, let's not go that fucking far. But at the same time, he's not Mahomes or Josh Allen, so we can't be confusing either. Like, so many people would be arguing that, he is like a top 2-3 quarterback, and it's just like, he's not. Right. But what he's done for the 49ers up until this point, and hopefully, he's going to, he's always been somebody that works, so it's not like he's going to get paid and then all of a sudden going to stop working on becoming a better quarterback. Like, I highly fucking doubt that happens. So I think that obviously, he doesn't get top market money. But I do think the 49ers do pay him this season. After the season, hopefully they fucking do it smart, because can we not have it drag out all off season and into freaking next season, and we're going through all this bullshit again? Can we have one normal off season? Like, one. That's all I ask. One fucking normal off season without drama.
I think they do, like, because like I said, I don't think, like, the 49ers will play hardball if they need to. Like, I think they always have that in their back pocket. Someone mentioned Rodgers, Darnold, and Cousins. They'll absolutely enter the conversation if the 49ers feel like they need to play that card. But I don't know. A part of me doesn't think they'll need to. Yeah. But if we start seeing those names, we'll know why. So I don't think it's going to take all off season. And there's after what happened this with Trent and Ayuk, like there's no reason. I'd be so pissed if the 49ers dragged this out with Brock. Like you just can't do that with your quarterback. It's either you want to pay him or you don't. Like that's it.
Yeah, because he's the last person we need feeling like, oh, this team didn't want me and this and like all this shit. And like we need him actually working with the wide receivers like during the offseason. Can we like actually have an offseason of that? Like for years, there's always something that there's stopping us from our quarterback and like our top 2 wide receivers being able to work out in the offseason. So can we like, hopefully Ayuk will be back, I don't know how long his shit's going to take, but hopefully he'll be starting to practice and like they can actually get some work in, Yeah. So I hope the 49ers just don't do no stupid shit. Like we've had enough. Okay. We've had enough. We're about to get out of here. One last thing I had seen. Shay had said, draft me Josh Simmons.
Shay is just dropping his whole mock draft in the chat.
We're drafting.
Like every 5 minutes.
Shay's ready to draft. Josh Simmons is a offensive tackle for the Ohio State Buckeyes. So I'm with you there, Shay. I don't know much about him, but whatever you say, I'm gonna take it because we need O linemen. And coming from that school, I mean, you can't be ass. So you're definitely not ass. So hopefully, Steph, what else you got going on this week?
Yeah, so tomorrow after a couple weeks off on Friday, gonna be doing my preview show with KP. So make sure you guys tune into that, and then of course the post game on Sunday on my channel.
There you have it. And Steph and I will be back every Thursday, 3 Pacific time for 2 Goat Thursdays. So make sure you're here. Make sure you're subscribed to both channels, Steph 49K and Faithfully in Vegas on YouTube. We appreciate you all, Faithful. Thank you all for being here, being supportive. I appreciate you. Much love. Everybody have a safe, wonderful rest of your week. We're out of here. Peace.